Hey there, my fellow YouTube followers, subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed, go down and smash that subscribe button, and let's get you guys some knowledge on what composites is. Today we're going to do an introduction on composites, but first let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name's David Hendrickson. I've got a total of 13 going on 14 years experience in the composite industry. So what is a composite? It is two or more materials that are brought together or working together to create something much stronger, but they still retain their own unique identity. So let's give you guys some examples of what a composite might look like. Here we have a fiberglass bowl that was laminated. It has fiberglass as well as a matrix or resin system that has been mixed together to create something much stronger, much more durable, but you can still see both the materials in there. If you look close enough, you can still see the fibers, and then you see the matrix that's on the outside of it. Here we're going to have a composite panel. This panel is also a composite. Here we have a fiberglass panel with a core structure being foam. Here we have a piece of plywood. Plywood is a great example of a composite. Whether you know it or not, it is wood mixed with a glue being pressed together to make a piece of plywood, which is a form of composites. Here I have a walking stick. Also carbon fiber or unidirectional, also has fiberglass on the inside, which we'll get into later. You also see it in your everyday today life. Sporting goods, your fishing equipment, great example of what a composite is. You can see this eye loop right here. It obviously has a resin system mixed in with it and a fiber. That is a form of a composite. Here is a couple other options. We have a bottle here. This bottle is actually a form of composites. So now that you guys have some examples of what composites might look like, let's give you some examples as where they might be used. Obviously, we're talking about advanced composites here, but we're going to give you some insight knowledge on where you might see it on your day-to-day life. Obviously, you see it in building materials like plywood. You see it in your housing goods, supplies like your bottles that you get your laundry detergent in, or your cleaners and soaps. Any kind of bottle that is blown into a bottle shape is a form of composites. Your everyday composites like your fiberglass and carbon fiber can be used in the automotive industry for lighter, faster cars or stronger cars. Makes them more economical, also makes them faster for race cars. That's where you'll see it in the automotive industry the most. Aerospace industry. So the aerospace industry took on a big challenge about 15 to 20 years ago, roughly, and wanted to start building aircraft parts out of different materials to try to make the planes lighter, faster, more economical, to save on fuel, which means they had to come up with a solution to making these parts. Well, carbon fiber, fiberglass, Kevlar is used in your everyday aerospace structures at this point, and moving forward we will see more and more in the future. So why do we use them? Because they're lighter, they're stronger than your typical alloys and metals. Here we have a composite panel that we have a foam core inside of. This foam core makes this very, very durable. There is actually only 4 layers of fiberglass in this panel, but this panel is super strong. It's not going anywhere. You could sit and try and break it all you want and you're not going to break it. You're not even going to barely flex this because of how strong it is. But yet it's so light, it only weighs maybe a pound. So why do we use it other than the light and the strength of it? Well, to give you examples, when you have torsions and loads that are suspended on certain portions of the aircraft, these materials give it the ability to flex, and also gives it the ability to stay structurally strong during those flexing points. So if I give you an example of an airplane wing, airplane wings, they have the wind coming in underneath them, being pushed up on them, giving them lots of load underneath. Well, we have to have a material that's light enough and strong enough to withstand that. Hence why we use carbon fiber and fiberglass in those. What types of materials are you going to see in composites? You're going to see carbon fiber. You could see anything from a plain weave, an 8 harness satin, a unidirectional material. You could see fiberglass, Kevlar. It all depends on what you are building and why you would use different materials in different applications. So I will give you examples later on as to what these materials might be used for and where they might be placed. As we get into this a little bit more in depth, we're going to teach you guys how to ultimately become composite technicians for the aerospace industry. However, we are going to talk about a lot of different subjects. We're going to talk about blueprint readings and how to read your drawings. We're going to teach you about certain specs. We're going to teach you about all sorts of different things that are going to make you successful in the composite industry as a whole. So stay tuned. Now that you have an idea of what composites is and why we might use it, we're going to leave it for another day to go into more depth.